He hondore he karoria ki te atua, he mangarongo ki te whenua, he whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā kārangatanga maha. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. The Indigenous Coalition for Israel has been established to raise a collective Indigenous voice in support of Israel. As Indigenous peoples, we recognise Jews as the original extant inhabitants of the land of Israel. They've maintained an unbroken connection to the land in spite of expulsions, colonisation and persecution over millennia. We identify with the respect they hold for their ancestors and the handing down of history from ancient times. Jews have maintained ancient cultural practices. Some are over 3,000 years old. The deep ties to their ancient homeland, recognition of the importance of genealogy, cultural continuity, and the remarkable revival of their ancient language are some of the facets that connect us to Israelis as Indigenous peoples. The re-establishment of the nation of Israel in its ancient homeland is an inspiration for all Indigenous peoples. The Jews are also a people to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude. Many of us are people of faith who recognise that the root of our faith is Middle Eastern. The prophets and apostles were Jewish, as are the scriptures. The one we recognise as Messiah is Jewish. We are mindful of the call of Abraham, and so we aspire to bless Israel rather than curse her or esteem her lightly. A central purpose of our Indigenous coalition is to stand against antisemitism. We're greatly concerned at the rise of Jew hatred locally and internationally. In the past year, we've seen the propagation of vicious anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, and misinformation and biased reporting of the Israel-Palestinian conflict has contributed to the worldwide surge in anti-Semitism. Israel was reborn not only from the ashes of the Holocaust, but also as a response to the increase of anti-Semitism in Russia and Eastern Europe from the 19th century onwards. When the land became open for settlement under the Ottoman Empire, Jews made their way back to their homeland to rejoin brethren who had maintained a presence in the land for centuries. The re-establishment of the Jewish nation after the Roman expulsion 2,000 years ago was little short of miraculous. And yet Israel has to continue to fight for survival. She's not been beaten militarily, so her opponents have instead focused their energies on political attacks and rewriting history. A determined anti-Israel cohort has worked for decades to delegitimize, demonize and undermine Israel's existence. The Durban Conference, held 20 years ago, was ostensibly convened to oppose racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia and related intolerance. However, it quickly descended into an anti-Semitic hate fest. A strategy emerged from that conference to isolate Israel through boycotts, legal attacks and accusations of apartheid. Professor Emeritus Gerald Steinberg said recently, Durban became the most potent symbol of organised hate against Israel as the nation-state of the Jewish people. Today, 20 years on from that conference, and on the eve of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, a festival that's been celebrated for around 2,000 years, the Indigenous Coalition for Israel declares its support for Israel. It is the goal of the Indigenous Coalition to equip and educate our communities to understand Israel's plight and speak up on her behalf. We will seek to foster and strengthen Indigenous connection and collaboration in support of Israel, and will promote relevant Indigenous initiatives. Our desire is that our collective support for the Jewish people will contribute to the fight against anti-Semitism worldwide, and we look forward to strengthening our friendships with our Jewish brothers and sisters. Earlier this year, a special event was held in Northland, New Zealand on the initiative of Ngapuhi elder Pat Ruka, who sits on our advisory council, to honour the Israeli ambassador and strengthen the relationship between the northern tribe Ngapuhi and Israel. This is a short video of that event.
Oh, What are we doing? Genesis 12 said, if we want to be blessed, to bless his children, the children of promise and the children of light.
We're being accepted and in a way embraced by the Ngapuhi, the guardians of the land. And here with this beautiful tree we've brought, and the exchange of trees that will be planted on the sacred land of Waitangi in the same week with Earth Day. The olive tree for Israelis, for Middle Easterners, symbolizes peace.
And so was the saying of old, no matter how great a storm, the strong winds, the kauri tree may bend, but it will never break. Speaking today of the relationship between the nation of Ngapuhi, the house, and the sacred house of Israel, the Jewish nation.
You know, I am only a part of the fabric, the twine, the weave of what God is doing for Aotearoa. I am nothing more, nothing less, just part of the weave that holds this whole mat together, this whole whāriki together.